Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder. We're just gonna jump right into it as we look for a battle. So if you didn't watch yesterday's episode, we were able to hit our goal of exactly 1900, which is really awesome. It's been a goal of mine for a while, even though battle spot rankings don't mean very much, as we're actually gonna find Macros with a rating of 1840 from California right away. I actually believe I've played him. Yep, this is the exact same Macros we played a couple of days ago. So a win here would actually give us more points, as I think first place in America currently is 1950, so it'd be really cool to reach #1 in the country and maybe eventually #1 in the world. Macros here has a team of Scizor, Altaria, Hydreigon, Staraptor, Raikou, and the Milotic. So, we actually featured his team on Road to Ranked a couple of days ago, and it's pretty cool to be fighting him again. I think I actually played him on stream the other night too, and I lost to him, but I honestly don't remember what both of us brought there, so I'm gonna have to try to think a bit hard here and figure out what to bring. Let's see. I think Gengar is always just kind of safe. I like Gengar. And Gengar's Suicune, I think. To try to set up Tailwind immediately. Though, his Mega Altaria, I believe, also has Tailwind. So perhaps I should try to counter the Raikou a bit harder. Let's see. Definitely want Gengar. Gengar, Venusaur, or Bisharp? The Scizor was what caused me a lot of issue last time. I played a bit carelessly and allowed him to bullet punch my Terrakion, which was just a bad move on my end. Gengar, and Gengar Venusaur is actually not a bad idea. This is really tough. I'm gonna go Gengar. You know what? Gengar Bisharp. Yeah, Bisharp puts on so much offense right from the start. Terrakion to one-hit KO the Hydreigon in the back. And for the last one, probably Venusaur. Yeah. Though I just realized I don't have a great way to deal with the Scizor, so I was thinking of bringing the Heatran or the Suicune to give me a better matchup against the Scizor, but we'll see. Scizor is actually a pretty interesting Pokemon to talk about because there was a regionals over in Europe this past weekend, and Baz Anderson actually won with a Mega Scizor. The rest of the team was a team that both him and I used a lot in VGC 2013. You know, Liepard, Terrakion, Breloom, Thundurus, Cresselia. I'm blanking out on the last one right now. But, and Scizor, yeah. So, Altaria and Raikou against Gengar and Bisharp. Now, this is interesting. Honestly, I could just Icy Wind Sucker Punch the Raikou right away. Raikou is definitely one of the bigger threats to the team. So, Icy Wind. I could also taunt Altaria because he might want to go straight for the Tailwind, but you know, I'm just going to Sucker Punch Raikou and Icy Wind. Get some damage off immediately, punish anything my opponent has. That is why I led with Bisharp. I knew if I led with Suicune, the Raikou would give me a lot of issue, which is why I decided to not bring it in the match. So this matchup works out alright. I do want to knock out the Raikou though, just because it's just really annoying to deal with. It actually has extra sensory and it's Life Orb as well, so that gives the Mega Venusaur I have in the back some trouble. Altaria is going to switch out, so that's really good because it means I'm guaranteed an Icy Wind off here. As my Milotic comes in, that is a really smart switch in on my opponent's end. As Raikou goes for the Protect, so wow, very intelligent play there. Taking in the free boost from Icy Wind, and I definitely should have considered that. So that was a big misplay on my end. That's one of the things, when you see my Milotic and Bisharp, you know, you often just assume, oh, if I don't bring Intimidate against it, it's fine, but, you know, Icy Wind is a move, Snarl is a move, and these are attacks that can often give it boosts, and, you know, I've featured so many games where that's happened, so, pretty careless on my end there. Now, let's see, that definitely makes things a lot tougher, I could double up into my Milotic with a Sludge Bomb and a knockoff. And you know what? I'm going to go for that. I need to knock this Milotic out now. It's at +2, and it's kind of a big threat right now. Now the question is whether Raikou stays in and attacks or whether it just switches out, not wanting to take a Sucker Punch. But very well done on that first turn on my opponent's end. And that's one of the reasons why Milotic is a really strong Pokemon. as is Bisharp. Bisharp's one of those Pokemon where I personally, like using a lot just because it doesn't need a boost to function well enough. Milotic doesn't get much offense, when it doesn't have, the competitive boost, but it's pretty easy to switch into attacks like Icy Wind, since Icy Wind is one of the more common attacks in VGC 15. I use Snarl on my Suicune as well, so, the Raikou does switch out, so this is good as long as Milotic does not protect here. So let's see if it does, as Scizor comes out for my opponent. So lots of smart switching on my opponent's end here. No switch out, so hopefully I can knock out Milotic with the double target here. As Sludge Bomb actually picks up the poison, but I really need the knockoff here to knock it out. Let's see. As it goes down. Oh, just misses out on the knockout. That's really unfortunate. I was really hoping I could knock it out there, as it's going to get a Scald off against Bisharp and knock it out most likely. Oh, but it actually targeted down Gengar. Okay. And the poison here is actually going to knock out Milotic, giving my opponent a free switch in. So, I mean, that's kind of a testament to, Milotic is a really bulky Pokemon, and even with the +2 boost, it couldn't bring Gengar down to its Focus Sash, as we're probably going to see Raikou come out here. But, you know what? I'm fine with that. I knocked out one of the bigger threats of the team, but it's actually going to be Altaria. Okay. So I definitely feel better about my position right now. But, let's see. I would think we'd see a Bullet Punch onto Gengar. I really don't know what Altaria wants to go for, though. You know what? I'm gonna Sludge Bomb the Altaria in case Scizor doesn't Bullet Punch. And I'm scared of the Tailwind play from Altaria because it has revealed that previously. So since it's Mega Altaria, maybe I can just go straight for the Iron Head onto it. Yeah, I'm gonna double up into it. So Altaria does Mega Evolve, so if I do get the Iron Head off, it should knock it out, but maybe it has like a Fire type attack that I'm not expecting. I've honestly never played against Mega Altaria other than against his opponent. Okay, so Scizor does go for the Bullet Punch onto Gengar. Good play there, but I didn't want the Venusaur to take in any damage, and Gengar's already done his job at this point. Oh, and Altaria does have Fire Blast, but I avoid it. Wow, that's huge. I do have to apologize to my opponent about that. So I was thinking maybe the Altaria had a Fire type attack. I wasn't sure because it revealed like Tailwind and Hyper Voice in previous games. So I thought it'd have Protect, and I didn't know what the last move was. But that's really big for me. I think my matchup would have been considerably worse, had my opponent gotten that Fire Blast off. Of course, it's still not over yet, but it does make things a bit easier for me here, as I'm going to bring in Venusaur. And of course, that's why Fire Blast is one of those moves that, it's literally hit or miss. You either hit it and it KOs, or you just miss it and it doesn't do much. Obviously, it does nothing, which is why, the Flamethrower versus Fire Blast move discussion is pretty interesting, especially on Pokemon like Hydreigon. So, I do get Scizor in for free here. I'm going to Leech Seed the Scizor right away and go for a Sucker Punch onto Raikou. Raikou here, Sucker Punch plus Life Orb should knock it out. Life Orb Recoil. Though I just remembered last time I played my opponent, the Raikou was able to hang on with 1 HP after the Life Orb damage and Sucker Punch. So, perhaps I could have doubled up into there, just because, Raikou's not really the threat right, or not, Scizor's really not a threat, but we'll see. Also, if I had Heatran in the back here, would be game, but I ended up bringing Terrakion, which actually is not good in this matchup at all, but let's see. Raikou goes for the Protect. Okay, that was another play I was anticipating, as Scizor probably will go for a Bug Bite, maybe a Swords Dance, and I do hit the Leech Seed, which is good. So, of course, that's going to steal away Scizor's HP slowly. What does it go for, though? It does go straight for the Bug Bite into Bisharp. Okay, how much does that do? Oh, very good amount, actually. Bringing me down all the way to 22 HP. Ooh, this just got intense. If I'm my opponent here, I'm going to Protect with Raikou. I think I should Protect Bisharp. And... That was a very good turn from my opponent, getting us as much damage off as possible. Me having Terrakion in the back here does not help my case at all. Especially because Raikou is able to outspeed and Bullet Punch plus T-Bolt is a KO. So this is what I mean. Even though I avoided that Fire Blast, my opponent still put himself into a position where he can still win. So the question here is, does Raikou go for the double Protect? Because I could just Sucker Punch Scizor. You know what? I think I'm going to double into Scizor. Actually, yeah, I'm going to double up into it with a Sucker Punch and a Giga Drain. That plus the... Leech Seed from this turn and the next turn should allow me to pick up the KO. Raikou does go for the double Protect, so I did call that correctly. And he got it, too. and I do get the Sucker Punch and it hits Scizor. So that was a huge prediction. I really needed to nail that to make sure I end up winning this one. Bisharp's going to take the recoil damage, but the damage here against Scizor is just too much, as, like I say, I can double protect the following turn as I get a crit there, Bug Bite coming out against Bisharp. So that's going to knock me out, but all I have to do here is double protect to let Scizor faint from the Leech Seed recovery, and then it's Terrakion and Venusaur against a Raikou. As actually, never mind, Scizor was already in Leech Seed KO range, so that's perfect. As I'm going to bring in Terrakion, though this still isn't over, actually. I'm not sure how much that Raikou's extra sensory is going to do to my Venusaur. Though actually all I have to do here, Sludge Bomb should be a 2-hit KO, so I'll just Sludge Bomb in close combat here. I don't think extra sensory is a 1-hit KO on Venusaur just because I am really bulky, but I do invest in bold. I am bold nature with heavy defenses. Not going to protect with Terrakion here because if my opponent chooses to target down Venusaur with the extra sensory this turn, then Terrakion just wins the game with a close combat. So this is one of the cases where not much reason to double protect or go for a protect with one Pokemon and attack with the other, just because, say, the Raikou is able to crit an extra sensory against Venusaur, as it does go for it. Who does it target? Targeting down Terrakion. Okay. Oh, Terrakion's actually able to hang on. Yeah, so Venusaur definitely would have been able to take that, but of course, Raikou's special attack is really great, but the non-stab boost is pretty big there. Just not being able to get a stab attack off, as, you know, Terrakion there was able to hang on. So I am able to beat Macros here 2-0, but in a really game-deciding Fire Blast miss. So once again, I do apologize to him for that, because I definitely think that could have... I mean, that would have made my matchup so much worse. It would have been Terrakion and Venusaur against Scizor, which of course has access to Bullet Punch and the Altaria, and he could have just Bullet Punched Terrakion twice to pick up the KO. So that was pretty game deciding. I should not have put myself into that position in the first place. I think I played the first couple of turns pretty poorly, but you know, that's Pokemon for you. So that's actually going to give us a nice rating boost, putting us at 1913. So hey, you know, if we could reach 2,000 by the end of this season, that would be absolutely awesome. But at this point, it's just for fun. I'm glad I was able to finally reach 1900, and it's been an awesome journey, so thanks to y'all for sticking around. So I do think my last opponent there had a really awesome team as well. It's pretty rare to see, you know, Pokemon like Raikou, Mega Altaria, and Scizor, and it gave me a lot of trouble, you know. Scizor is one of those Pokemon, you know, I mentioned earlier, Baz Anderson actually won a regional championship over in Europe today with it, as Batsy from Italy is going to be our second opponent of the day with a rating of 1818, so a lot of highly rated players. Now, normally I don't think Scizor is as good this year as he was in VGC 2012 and 2013, because in those years you had access to Bug Gem and Steel Gem, which boosted attacks like Bug Bite and Bullet Punch, but hey, you know, it definitely can still work as demonstrated in the previous game. And Baz actually used a Mega Scizor with Swords Dance and Knockoff, which was really interesting to see him use something like that. But let's get into this game. Batsy here's got a team of Kangaskhan, Gengar, Suicune, Thundurus, Sylveon, and Whimsicott. So immediately Tailwind sticks out to me, both from Suicune and from Whimsicott. Whimsicott most definitely will be trying to go for it, and unfortunately I don't have a great way to prevent that, because normally I use my Gengar to taunt Tailwind users, but Whimsicott here of course with Prankster is able to Tailwind, and it is why it's one of the best Tailwind users in the game. However, because it gets access to Prankster, it doesn't really have much means of offense, so a lot of the times the way I beat Whimsicott is by attacking its partners, because I know I can't do much other than annoy my team slightly, but it's not nearly as annoying to deal with as, say, something like Whimsicott, just because, not Whimsicott, Meowstic, just because Whimsicott is relatively frail. So now the question is who I want to lead with. As always, it is always the question. I kind of want to go with Terrakion and Suicune, honestly. Predicting a Kangaskhan Whimsicott lead, because that way I could match my opponent's Tailwind, and Terrakion outspeeds everything my opponent has to on his team, other than the Gengar, but Gengar doesn't really do too much to Terrakion and Suicune, especially because Terrakion is Lumburied. Venusaur here is very helpful as well. He can't really touch it with Thundurus, Sylveon. Of course, it's bold, so it can take Kangaskhan's attacks as well. So lead matchup here is pretty important. I actually think I might lead with Venusaur instead. I like Venusaur, yeah. Venusaur Suicune's a bit more defensive, and isn't nearly as weak to... okay, hold on. Let's pick the Pokemon here. Okay, I went with Gengar Bisharp. I don't think Gengar was the right call here. Well, I'm not really sure. That was a tough team preview, definitely. I didn't really like the idea of having Terrakion just because my opponent had Sylveon, but I actually think Terrakion would have been better just because he can one-hit KO the Kangaskhan, and it can Rock Slide. So, yeah, if I could rechange to the leads here, I'd have Terrakion in the back. But we're going to see Whimsicott Gengar coming out against my Venusaur and Suicune. That's alright for me here. Because what I can do here is go for, actually, the question is whether I want a Tailwind with Suicune or not, just because my opponent's Gengar might taunt. But I've definitely got the better matchup here. Let's see. I think Gengar's gonna taunt Suicune and Whimsicott's gonna Tailwind. That would be my prediction. So I honestly don't want to knock out either of my opponent's Pokemon right now, just because that way I can burn a turn of Tailwind the following turn. Alternatively, I could expect that Whimsicott to be Sash. I want to Snarl here with the Suicune. That's the main thing. Yeah, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna Giga Drain Whimsicott. Or, I could also Leech Seed Gengar for recovery. Yeah, I'm gonna Leech Seed Gengar and Snarl here. It's gonna be Mega Gengar actually. Okay, so the Leech Seed here is actually gonna end up helping out. I did not anticipate that in Team Preview just because of the Kangaskhan, but hey, that's gonna be alright for me. Oh, we might see some really bad shenanigans here with Whimsicott and Gengar because of the Encore Disable combo, so I should have anticipated that. Oh, but Whimsicott goes straight for Fake Tears, wow, into Venusaur, so we're going to see a double into it with the Sludge Bomb. Excellent play. Is that going to knock me out? Yeah, oh, with the crit. I'm actually not sure if you could have knocked me out there with the, without the crit just because I'm really bulky, but... let's see, I got a Snarl off, but I just lost Mega Venusaur, which was one of the best Pokemon against my opponent's entire team. I'm not sure if that crit mattered, but you never know. At least I pick up, get a Snarl off here, and I get a free switch into my Bisharp. But, scary position to be in for sure. Now I'm going to go straight for the Iron Head onto Whimsicott and go for the Tailwind here. Whimsicott might want to go for the Encore, but I want to get rid of Whimsicott immediately because if I don't, then Whimsicott and Gengar can start encoring and disabling everything, which I really don't want to deal with right now. So I want to just pick up the knockout there so Whimsicott can't Encore. And then Gengar, of course, is weak to Bisharp's Sucker Punch, but man, that was a pretty rough first turn for me. Yeah, I could have predicted the Gengar Whimsicott lead a bit better, but honestly, there wasn't much I could have had. The only Pokemon that really would have been good in this lead matchup was leading with Bisharp, just because they could have Sucker Punched Gengar immediately. Though, honestly, I wouldn't have even tried to Sucker Punch Gengar, because I was expecting a normal Gengar. So, a very nice trick my opponent had there. I was completely expecting normal Gengar, Tailwind Whimsicott. Not the case there, and... you know, if there's any good use of Whimsicott, I really like how my opponent's using it here, just because Whimsicott normally, of course, you know, doesn't get much damage off, but what better way to get damage off than to help your opponent pick up one-hit KOs? As Gengar goes for the Destiny Bond, hey, I'm not gonna mind, because I did not target that slot down. And Whimsicott goes for the Giga Drain. I think it's funny how I mentioned how Whimsicott doesn't have any means of offense, and here it is going for a Giga Drain, healing it back to full HP. Now my question is whether it has a Focus Sash or not. It does have the Sash, okay. So, I get the Iron Head off, and I get Tailwind up. Which, of course, is good. Man, I'm really curious. Okay, so Gengar we've seen Sludge Bomb and Destiny Bond. Destiny Bond, also not a very common move in VGC. Whimsicott, we've seen Giga Drain, which actually was very clutch there because it allowed him to survive on that Sash. We've seen Giga Drain and Fake Tears. I would guess it has Tailwind. I'm wondering whether it has Disable, or, I mean Encore or not. Let's see. I think I want to knock off Gengar here. Actually, I could Iron Head and Snarl once again. Yeah, I'm gonna go for that. Okay, there is the Encore I was expecting to see earlier on. What does Gengar go for? So this Tailwind's actually gonna help me out because now I can outspeed Gengar, so I'm glad Whimsicott didn't go for a Tailwind there, but now Gengar is, I would expect the Destiny Bomb to come out. Of course I do waste the Tailwind there. Oh, but it goes straight for Sludge Bomb into Suicune, that's fine. I'd actually rather my opponent knock my Suicune out right now, though I'm definitely in a tough position to be in. Though now I can knock out this Gengar the following turn with, say, a knockoff. And it's actually good because my opponent definitely doesn't have Kangaskhan in the back, given that we have Mega Gengar out here, and Kangaskhan was one of the Pokemon I was scared of. So we've seen Sludge Bomb, we've seen Destiny Bond, we've seen... Yeah, it's really been those two. That was a really good, interesting lead combination for my opponent there, as Thundurus is going to come out for my opponent. And yeah, this is where I'm saying, you know, I really wish I brought a Terrakion in this match, because having a switch into Terrakion here would be fantastic. But let's see. Not really much I can do here. Now the main issue is I really put myself into a bad position by tailwinding with that Suicune. I should have anticipated. The Giga Drain from Whimsicott definitely caught me off guard too. The issue here is all my opponent has to do is protect with Gengar and just attack with Thundurus, and because knockoff isn't going to be able to knock it out. So what I could do here is protect with Bisharp and waste the turn, but then that just burns down a turn of Tailwind for me. So I'm thinking maybe I should just knock off the Thundurus, and I mean, I have to Tailwind here, obviously. Yeah, Gengar goes for the protect, but I really think we're going to see T-Bolt onto Bisharp. Oh, it goes for T-Wave, actually. That might be a misplay on my opponent's end, I think, because had he just knocked out Bisharp, I would have been in a lot more trouble, but hey, I get a knockoff here, which is great. Getting rid of the Citrus. And of course, I'm still stuck in this perpetual Tailwind. This Poison is slowly taken down as well. Unfortunately, Encore does not end. All things are interesting. I did not expect T-Wave. I think T-Bolt would have been the play for my opponent there, but man, I wish I had Terrakion. Let's see, so Gengar did reveal the Protect, which of course makes sense. Protect, Sludge Bomb, Destiny Bond. I could Protect with Bisharp here. Actually, no, I'm just going to Sucker Punch Thundurus. And, of course, I'm still stuck in Tailwind here, but... Gengar switches out, yeah. The reason why I'm Sucker Punching here is just because Gengar's not really the threat right now. Suicune comes in for my opponent's last one. So this is going to be an interesting match. Oh, Thundurus goes for the taunt. Good play there. And I do fail my Sucker Punch. That was a very good taunt. As this Poison actually has been really annoying. Encore ends there. Tailwind peters out. Ooh, this is a tough match. I don't like my position, that's for sure. But it's not over yet. It's not over yet. But man, losing Venusaur early on was really rough. I'm going to do a damage calc afterwards to figure out whether that would have KO'd or not. I think it would have, but I'm not sure. I think we're just going to see a T-Bolt into Suicune here and a Scald into Bisharp. So I'm just going to... I'm going to Sucker Punch the Thundurus once again and switch out. No. And I'm going to stay in and Snarl to decrease my opponent's Suicune special attack. And if we switch... Okay, yeah. Perfect. So I get the KO here on Thundurus. Now my main issue is I don't have a good way to deal with my opponent's Suicune because I already lost Venusaur, so... I don't think Scald can KO me, but I'm playing on a 1-clock timer, basically. If it does KO here, I'm done for. Oh, and it picked up a KO. Yeah, that's bad. I don't actually think I have a way to win this game now. As my opponent actually avoids the Snarl as well. And yeah, this Poison was really bad. I basically got myself into a terrible position once the Whimsicott got the Encore off. You know, the whole point of snarling that first turn was to break the Focus Sash. And then it went for the Giga Drain, and I was like, oh, maybe it doesn't have Focus Sash because, you know, it has a Giga Drain. But not going to be the case here, as Gengar's going to come out, of course, for my opponent. Yeah, I'm kind of done for, I think. I have to hope that Gengar protects. I mean, it's basically a lost cause. I can't even touch my opponent's Gengar since I don't have Shadow Ball with mine. So, it's basically defeat here. I really like my opponent's team here, though. Very well constructed, especially the Whimsicott Mega Gengar lead. And it was bad of me to lose Venusaur right away, but honestly, like, it's... When you see Whimsicott and Gengar, like, the last play you'd expect is a Mega Evolution, Fake Tears, and Sludge Bomb play. But here, Gengar's just gonna go straight for the Sludge Bomb into Suicune. Good play, picking up the knockout there. You know, at this point that makes sense because if you're my opponent, you know, Suicune basically wins you the game on my opponent's end, as Sludge Bomb there does a decent amount, but it's already over basically. Yeah, so my one chance of winning was if Bisharp was able to hang on there. I'm not sure if that was a damage roll or whether that the Suicune is more offensive. If I were to able to hang on with one turn, you know, first of all, I'd have pressure because that Gengar would not want to go for a attack, because of course I could just knock it out with a Sucker Punch. So then I could double up into Suicune with, say, a Sludge Bomb knockoff. But lost cause here, as it's going to be game. And excellent playing. That Encore on Suicune was deadly, and I should have anticipated it. I should not have Tailwinded there. I mean, the Giga Drain also caught me off guard, and I think this is a great demonstration in VGC where when you have really unique sets and, you know, just Pokemon that are kind of unorthodox, you can really catch your opponent off guard because, you know, here I was expecting a Whimsicott with no attacks, you know, expecting a normal Gengar, but then the Fake Tears and the Giga Drain were both so big for that Whimsicott to, you know, give me a bad matchup. Had my Venusaur been able to hang on from that first turn, or had I been able to knock out Whimsicott and set up Tailwind, I think I would have been in such a better position because Suicune getting locked into Encore was or Tailwind was basically at the end of the game. So very well fought by my opponent there. 2 awesome games for you today against, you know, once again 1800 rated players. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. Of course, leave a like if you did, and I shall see you tomorrow. All right, peace.